and welcome to Daily News Simplified. Here we take up the news article from the Hindu Delhi edition and discuss them as per demand of UPSC Civil Services examination. Topics for today's discussion are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion. Before starting today's discussion, here we have an announcement for you. The Prelims and Mains Integrated Quality Improvement Program, which is going to start on September 2nd, and this program includes the comprehensive current affairs class, Prelims and Mains revision session, and more than 80 tests for Prelims and Mains to test your knowledge, and you will also get a personalized one-to-one mentorship. Get ready to embark on a transformative journey that will empower you with knowledge, skills, and confidence that is required to clear the civil services examination. Don't miss this opportunity to be a part of a dynamic learning community and receive personalized guidance from experienced mentors. And the classes will also be in a hybrid model. You can attend it online or offline at Raus IAS ORN campus. The first topic of today's session is based on the news article which appeared on editorial page of the Hindu. The article talks about Indus Waters Treaty. The Indus Waters Treaty was brokered by World Bank and it primarily embodies the concept of fair distribution rather than causing significant harm. The treaty grants both countries, that is, India and Pakistan, exclusive rights to use their allocated rivers without adversely affecting the interest of others. And as per the treaty, India has unrestricted access to three eastern rivers. These are Ravi, Bias, and Satluj. Similarly, Pakistan enjoys similar privileges over the three western rivers, and these are Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab. The topic becomes important part of General Studies paper 2, India and its neighbors. Also in 2021, question appeared on the Indus River system in prelims. In Mains Pre-YQ 2016, a direct question appeared on the Indus Water Treaty. The question says, present an account of the Indus Water Treaty and examine its ecological, economic and political implications in the context of changing bilateral relations. First, let us see the history of Indus Water Treaty. The partition of 1947 not only defined the territorial boundaries of India and Pakistan, but also claimed the Indus River system. And initially in May 1948, the Inter-Dominion Accord emerged as a solution, and following a conference, India and Pakistan agreed that India would provide water to Pakistan, with the latter making annual payments. However, this accord faltered due to differing interpretations. And amidst water sharing disputes, India and Pakistan sought World Bank funding for the irrigation projects on Indus and its tributaries in 1951, following which the World Bank had to step to mediate, which culminated into 1960 Indus Waters Treaty signed between the then Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, and the then Pakistan's President, Ayub Khan, under the World Bank's mediation. Now let us discuss some of the major provisions of the Indus Waters Treaty. As mentioned above, the treaty delineated the division of water from the 6 rivers between India and Pakistan. The 3 western rivers were allotted to Pakistan without constraints, and meanwhile, 3 eastern rivers, Ravi, Bias and Satluj, were earmarked for unrestricted use by India. And consequently, Pakistan received 80% of the water share, leaving India with only 20%. Coming to the administrative framework mentioned under the treaty, both nations were mandated to establish a permanent Indus Commission featuring permanent commissioners from both the sides. The commission would serve as a platform for sharing river-related information, maintaining cooperation, and as a primary venue for resolving conflicts over the river. Coming to the operational guidelines, although Pakistan had rights to the waters of Jhelum, Chenab and Indus, Annexure C allowed India specific agricultural usage, and additionally, Annexure D has permitted India to construct run-of-the-river hydropower projects that don't require significant water storage. And India was required to share project details with Pakistan, which would raise objections within 3 months. Thus, India was allowed a minimum storage level on the western rivers, permitting storage for conservation and flood control. The provisions of Indus Water Treaty also includes conflict resolution mechanisms. The treaty has outlined a three-tier dispute resolution process, including initial issues that could be resolved with the Permanent Commission or at the intergovernmental level. The unresolved disputes could be referred to a neutral expert appointed by the World Bank, and those matters not settled by the neutral expert or disputes regarding treaty interpretation could be taken to a court of arbitration. Additionally, there is an annulment conditions that says exiting the treaty would require mutual agreement between both the nations and it could not be unilaterally terminated. Now let us see the contention over the Indus Water Treaty. The focal point of contention between India and Pakistan centers around India's hydropower projects and specifically Kishanganga and Ratel hydroelectric power plants located in India's Jammu and Kashmir region. India views these projects as essential for fulfilling its energy requirements and driving the development of the region. And on the other hand, Pakistan has expressed objections citing perceived violations of the treaty and potential adverse impacts on its water supply. However, these objections by Pakistan are in opposition to the stipulations outlined in Annexure D of the treaty. Pakistan initially voiced its concerns regarding the Kishanganga project in 2006, followed by Ratel project on the Chenab River in 2012. Also in 2010, the dispute surrounding the Kishanganga project was brought before the Court of Arbitration. Pakistan's argument revolved around India's proposed plan not aligning with the provisions laid out in Article 3, Article 4, Clause 6 and Paragraph 15, Clause 3 of Annexure D of the Indus Water Treaty. However, in 2013, the Court of Arbitration delivered its final ruling, affirming that the Kishanganga hydroelectric project operates as a run-of-the-river dam. Thus, India possesses the right to divert water from Kishanganga River for the purpose of power generation. Following the Court of Arbitration's decision, the two nations managed to find a mutually agreeable solution for just one of four issues that were slated for resolution. And despite numerous rounds of discussions, were unable to settle the remaining three matters. And as a result, Pakistan lodged a complaint with the World Bank. In the year 2016, Pakistan requested World Bank to establish another court of arbitration, and in response, India proposed the appointment of a neutral expert to mediate the issue. And during this period, the World Bank suspended progress on the Kishanganga and Ratel projects, so as to provide an opportunity for both the nations to explore alternative paths to resolve their disagreements. However, despite this pause, the construction on the Kishanganga project persisted, and in 2018, the Prime Minister of India inaugurated it, which further escalated the tensions between both the nations. And following this, in October 2022, World Bank appointed the new Court of Arbitration. In July 2023, the Permanent Court of Arbitration unanimously dismissed India's objections and confirmed its authority to address and settle the concerns raised by Pakistan, to which India responded by abstaining from engaging in the PCS proceedings and was therefore absent during the recent sessions. India has asserted that it cannot be forced to acknowledge or take part in illicit and parallel proceedings that were not foreseen by the treaty. The Indus Water Treaty, which is globally recognized as an effective conflict resolution model, has triggered dissatisfaction and conflicts between India and Pakistan due to differing interpretations and implementation challenges. Its technical complexity has led to significant divergences and strained political relations between the two nations. So, what is needed to be done? It's crucial now to imbibe the Indus Water Treaty with principles of equitable and rational utilization as well as no harm rule. And also a pragmatic approach is needed, as such an integration necessitates improved relations and sustained trust between India and Pakistan. It is also imperative to include local stakeholders in any negotiation process between India and Pakistan concerning shared water matters, and establishing a collaborative group including technical experts, climate specialists, and water management professionals and scientists from both the countries could be beneficial in addressing the crux of the issue. There is also need to explore the cooperative frameworks for the effective implementation of treaty, which is also outlined in Article 7 of the treaty. Considering the Indus Water Treaty was ratified over 6 decades ago, it is also necessary to make a few amendments in response to the evolving conditions in the Indus River basin. However, any modification must be underpinned by a foundation of trust between India and Pakistan. Lastly, let us see some of the facts relating to Indus River system. The Indus River, also known as Sindhu, represents the westernmost Himalayan river in India. It originates from a glacier near Bokarchu within the Tibetan range in Kailash mountain range. It is also referred to as Singhi Khamban. And following a northwest course amidst the Ladakh and Jhaskar ranges, it traverses Ladakh and Baltistan, and notably it incises through Ladakh range, creating a remarkable gorge close to Gilgit in the Jammu and Kashmir region. The Indus River benefits from numerous Himalayan tributaries such as Shyok, Gilgit, Hunza, etc. The river, when advancing southward, culminates with the convergence of Panjnad slightly upstream of Mithankot. The term Panjnad denotes the amalgamation of 5 rivers of Punjab, namely Satluj, Beas, Ravi, Chenab and Jhelum. Ultimately, the Indus River flows into Arabian Sea, and in India, the Indus navigates only through Jammu and Kashmir. Now let us look at some of the important tributaries of Indus River. The first one is Jhelum. It is a significant Indus tributary which originates from a spring at Verinag at the Pir Panjal range in the southeastern part of Kashmir Valley. It courses through Srinagar and Vular Lake. The next one is Chenab. It is the largest tributary of Indus and it is formed from 2 streams. These are Chandra and Bhaga. These 2 streams merge at Tandi in Himachal Pradesh, and therefore the alternative name for Chenab is Chandrabhaga. Another important tributary of the Indus River is Ravi. It originates in the Rohtang Pass in Himachal Pradesh and it meanders through the Chamba Valley in the state before entering Pakistan. The river drains the region between southeastern part of Pir Panjal and Dhauladhar ranges. The Beas is another important tributary of Indus River and it starts at Biaskund near Rohtang Pass in Himachal Pradesh. It journeys through the Kullu Valley, forming gorges at Kati and Largi within the Dhauladhar ranges. And upon reaching the Punjab plains, it intersects with Satluj near Harike. Satluj is one of the most important tributary of Indus River and it originates near Mansarovar in Tibet. In India, it emerges from a gorge at Rupar and passes through Shipkila in the Himalayan ranges before reaching Punjab plains. The Satluj is an antecedent river and assumes significance due to its role in sustaining the canal system of Bhakra Nangal project. With this, we will be concluding the discussion for this article. The second article of today's session is based on the Hindu article which talks about illegal trade of red sand boa and International Union of Conservation of Nature. The report has been compiled by Counter Wildlife Trafficking Unit of Wildlife Conservation Society. Alarming statistics have been highlighted by the report regarding the illegal trade of red sand boas. Red sand boas are a species of non-venomous snakes. The report draws from an analysis of media reports and documents a total of 172 incidents of red sand boa seizures between the years 2016 to 2021. The species is classified as near threatened by International Union of Conservation of Nature. Its population trend is categorized as decreasing across most of its habitat range. Near threatened species possess attributes that don't yet warrant critically endangered or vulnerable statuses, but they are inching towards classification due to the foreseeable threats. The report also reveals that the incidents of illegal red sand boa trade were documented in a staggering 18 states and 1 union territory, encompassing a substantial 87 districts in India. Across these, Maharashtra stood out with the highest number of incidents recorded, 59, predominantly in urban areas, while Uttar Pradesh recorded 33 incidents. Now the topic is important from the GS paper 3 perspective, coming under environment and conservation. In prelims 2015, question appeared on International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources and the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Now let us discuss the role of International Union for Conservation of Nature. The IUCN represents a worldwide organization that comprises both the governmental and the civil society entities. It is renowned as an international authority on the state of the natural world, and the IUCN boasts a membership exceeding 1400 organizations. It operates within the realm of sustainable development, and it not only recommends strategies to counter the resource depletion but also safeguards diverse species of plants and animals. IUCN members include states, non-governmental organizations, indigenous peoples organizations, experts, government agencies, and more. It was established in the year 1948 and founded in Fontainebleau in France. It sought to foster international collaboration and offer scientific knowledge and tools to support conservation efforts. Its accomplishments include creation of IUCN Red List in the year 1964 of threatened species. Additionally, the organization have played an integral role in shaping major international conventions such as Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, the World Heritage Convention, and Convention on Biological Diversity. Also, IUCN's collaboration with United Nations official observer status in 1992 in response to growing environmental concerns. Now let us see how the IUCN works. Held every 4 years, the IUCN World Conservation Congress convenes its diverse membership to vote on recommendations and establish the global conservation agenda. The IUCN Council serves as the primary governing body between Congress sessions and plays a pivotal role in overseeing the organization's operations. The members of IUCN elect commission chairs for 4-year terms, and the IUCN Secretariat at Gland in Switzerland is under the guidance of a Director General. The IUCN's expansive reach includes 8 regional offices and numerous other offices in over 50 countries. Now let us discuss about the IUCN Red List. IUCN Red List of Threatened Species was established in the year 1964, and it has evolved into an unparalleled global repository of information on the conservation status of animals, fungi, and the plants. It acts as a vital gauge for the well-being of global biodiversity, and it serves as a catalyst for conservation action and policy modification crucial for preserving the natural resources and sustaining humanity. It also provides comprehensive data encompassing range, population size, habitat threats, conservation actions, and it also guides essential conservation decisions across the various sectors. The IUCN classification system categorizes species based on their conservation status, providing a comprehensive framework to assess the degree of endangerment and urgency of conservation efforts. The first one is extinct. These are the vanishing beyond recovery species, and they are labeled as extinct. When all the reasonable evidence confirms the demise of the last individual, the species are labeled as extinct. Exhaustive surveys conducted within their historic range during appropriate periods have failed to document their surviving members. The next is extinct in the wild. The classification extinct in the wild applies when a species clings to existence only in the cultivated settings, captivity, or as alien populations significantly removed from their original habitat. And despite extensive searches within their historical range, no individuals are found. A species is designated critically endangered if substantial evidences indicates any of the following criteria. These are a population decline exceeding 90% in the last decade, a population size below 50 mature individuals, a quantitative analysis forecasting a 50% chance of extinction within a decade, or it's on the brink of extinction in the wild. The endangered species are on the verge of extinction. This includes plants and animals significantly threatened by human activities, habitat destruction, pollution, overhunting, or the introduction of competitive alien species. The criteria for endangered species are: if its population has decreased by at least 70% within the last 10 years or 3 generations, if its population is estimated to drop below 2500 mature individuals or is less than 250 mature individuals, it faces this classification. Talking about the vulnerable species, this classification is based on criteria including a population reduction of over 50% in a decade and are in danger, and their likelihood of extinction within a century is at least 10%. Population estimates below 10,000 mature individuals and a probability of extinction in the wild can lead to a vulnerable classification. With this, we will be concluding the discussion on the second topic. The third topic of today's session is based on National Green Tribunal. Recently, the Green Court has directed the Border Roads Organization to plant at least 10,000 trees within a month in Uttarakhand as part of compensatory tree plantation to make up for hundreds of trees felled during construction of a road from Simli to Gwaldam. The NGT held that BRO violated environmental norms. The Green Court noted that a joint mechanism needed to be developed between BRO and Forest Department to monitor landslips, assessing damage to vegetation and treating sites with appropriate measures. The topic is an important part of General Studies Paper 2 syllabus, Polity and Governance, Statutory, Regulatory and various quasi-judicial bodies. In 2018, question appeared in prelims on National Green Tribunal. Now let us discuss certain facts about National Green Tribunal. The Act's National Green Tribunal deals with the power of NGT and composition of NGT, challenges of NGT and some of the important judgments given by Green Court. NGT is a statutory and specialized judicial body that deals with expeditious disposal of cases related to environmental protection and the conservation of forest and other natural resources. It was set up under the National Green Tribunal Act of 2010. The Green Court is not bound by Code of Civil Procedure 1908 or Indian Evidence Act of 1872 and is guided by principles of natural justice. The court draws inspiration from Part 3 of the Constitution of India, Article 21, that is, protection of life and personal liberty, which assures the citizens of India the right to the healthy environment. The court deals in the following acts. These acts are Water Prevention Act of 1974, Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Cess Act of 1977, the Forest Conservation Act of 1980, the Air Pollution Act of 1981, the Environmental Protection Act of 1986, the Public Liability Insurance Act of 1991, and the Biological Diversity Act of 2002. Now let us discuss some of the powers of National Green Tribunal. The NGT is vested with the powers of a civil court under the Code of Civil Procedure for discharging its functions. NGT is mandated to make disposal of application within 6 months of filing the same. It can enforce any legal right relating to the environment, order relief and compensation for damages to persons and property. In a decision of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai versus Ankita Singh and others, the Supreme Court of India held that NGT has the power to take suo motu cognizance of environmental issues. An appeal against the order, decision, award of the NGT lies to Supreme Court of India generally within 90 days from the date of communication. In case of non-compliance with any direction issued by the NGT or any of its judgment, a penalty can be imposed in which the person may be given imprisonment for about 3 years or a fine which may extend up to rupees 10 crores or both. The NGT comprises of chairman, judicial members, and expert members. These members are required to hold the office for 5 years and they are not eligible for reappointment. The chairperson of NGT is appointed by the central government in consultation with Chief Justice of India. Now, let us look at some of the important landmark judgments of the National Green Tribunal. In 2012, POSCO, a South Korean steelmaker company, signed a MOU with the Odisha government to set up steel project. The NGT suspended order and this was considered a radical step in favor of local communities and the forest. In 2012, Almitra H. Patel versus Union of India case, NGT gave judgment of complete prohibition on open burning of waste on lands including landfills, which is regarded as the single biggest landmark case dealing with the issue of solid waste management in India. In 2013, in Uttarakhand floods case, the Alaknanda Hydropower Company was ordered to compensate to the petitioner. In this case, the NGT directly relied on the principle of polluter pays. The National Green Tribunal in 2017 imposed an interim ban on plastic bags of less than 50 micron thickness in Delhi because they were causing animal deaths, clogging sewers and harming the environment. However, there are certain challenges in the functioning of National Green Tribunal. Two most important acts, that is Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 and Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006, has been kept out of NGT's jurisdiction. This restricts the jurisdiction area of NGT and at times hamper its functioning as crucial forest rights issue is linked directly to the environment. Also, the NGT decisions are being challenged in various high courts under Article 226, that is power of high courts to issue certain writs, with many asserting the superiority of high courts over the NGT, claiming high court is a constitutional body while NGT is a statutory body. This is one of the weaknesses of the Act as there is lack of clarity about what kind of decisions can be challenged, even though according to NGT Act, its decision can be challenged before the Supreme Court. The decisions of NGT have also been criticized and challenged due to their repercussions on economic growth and development. Also, the absence of a formula-based mechanism in determining the compensation has also brought criticism to the tribunal. The decisions given by NGT are not fully complied by the stakeholders or even the government. The lack of financial and human resources has led to high pendency of cases, and the justice delivery mechanism is also hindered by limited number of regional benches. Hence, there is need for more autonomy and widening of NGT's scope for effective protection of environment in balance with human developmental activities. With this, we will be concluding the discussion for this article. The last topic of today's session is important from General Studies Paper 3 perspective, banking sector, NBFC's growth and development. The Reserve Bank of India Governor has noted that while the urban cooperative bank sector showed improved financial performance at an aggregate level in recent times, concerns and vulnerabilities were seen for certain individual entities. The governor noted that the quality of the governance was the most important aspect in ensuring stability of individual banks and urged the directors to further strengthen the governance practices, especially 3 supporting pillars of compliance, risk management, and internal audit. In this article, we will be discussing Various provisions and aspects of urban cooperative banks. The primary cooperative banks, popularly known as urban cooperative banks, are registered as cooperative societies under the provisions of either State Cooperative Societies Act of the state concerned or Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act of 2002. In Prelims 2021, question directly appeared on the urban cooperative banks. Now let us see the provisions related to regulation of urban cooperative banks. Earlier, the urban cooperative banks were regulated and supervised by the Registrar of Cooperative Societies of the state concerned or by Central Registrar of Cooperative Societies. The applicability of banking laws to cooperative societies since March 1966 ushered in duality of control over UCBs between the Registrar of Cooperative Societies, Central Registrar of Cooperative Societies and the Reserve Bank of India. The RBI regulates and supervises the banking functions of UCBs under the provisions of Banking Regulation Act of 1949. And within the Reserve Bank of India, a separate department, that is, Urban Banks Department, has been entrusted with these functions. The Urban Banks Department functions in close coordination with other regulators, the Registrar of Cooperative Societies and Central Registrar of Cooperative Societies. The functions of the Urban Banks Department can be broadly divided into regulatory, supervisory and developmental. The Reserve Bank has been vested powers to issue licenses to UCBs under Section 22 and 23 of Banking Regulation Act of 1949 to carry on banking business. For this purpose, guidelines on eligibility criteria for issue of banking license, branch license are issued to UCBs from time to time, and as a regulator, the Reserve Bank has prescribed prudential norms in various areas such as the capital adequacy, income recognition, asset classification, provisioning, exposure to single group borrowers, exposures to sensitive sectors, loans and advances, investments, liquidity requirements, etc. Under the supervisory functions, the Reserve Bank carries out on-site inspections and off-site surveillance of UCBs. It also issues directions and operational instructions to UCBs wherever necessary to streamline the functioning and protect the interest of depositors. Under the developmental functions, the RBI imparts training to officials of UCBs to upscale their knowledge, skill and expertise. The RBI has also entered into a memorandum of understanding with the central government and various state governments for harmonization of regulation and supervision. Moving on, now let us see problems with regulation of urban cooperative banks. The first problem is related to dual regulation. The urban cooperative banks are under dual regulation of RBI and Registrar of Cooperative Societies. This leads to lack of coordination between regulating entities. It also enables the cooperative banks to escape from greater scrutiny, leading to financial irregularities and lapses. Another problem is poor regulation by Registrar of Cooperative Societies. Some of the core functions such as audit of accounts and supersession of board of directors are required to be performed by Registrar of Cooperative Societies. However, some of the UCBs are controlled by local level influential political leaders and businessmen. This leads to strong political pressure on Registrar of Cooperative Societies, thus they fail to perform their role efficiently. Also, there is lack of empowerment of RBI with reference to urban cooperative banks. RBI has been adequately empowered to regulate the banking related functions of scheduled banks. However, RBI has been empowered to set a minimum level of qualifications for the board of directors. RBI can also supersede the board of directors of scheduled bank, and auditing of scheduled banks is conducted in accordance with best practices laid down by the RBI. But such powers are not entrusted with RBI with respect to regulation of UCBs, leading to laxity. Hence, to strengthen the regulatory oversight of RBI over the cooperative sector, Banking Regulation Amendment Act 2020 has been introduced. The Act does not put complete end to dual regulation of urban cooperative banks. Also, the Act does not completely take powers of take powers of State Registrar of Cooperative Societies, Central Registrar of Cooperative Societies. However, their powers have been substantially curtailed and regulatory powers of RBI have been substantially enhanced. For example, audit of such banks will take place according to best practices laid down by the RBI. Further, RBI would be empowered to supersede the Board of Directors. The RBI would also be empowered to lay down the minimum level of qualification for the board of members. With this, we will be concluding the discussion of last topic.